My point here is to speak about these elements, which is the densification of consciousness. All along your evolution and your growth, as far as you're involved into some spiritual practices, you will notice not only an evolution of your subtle body, your energetical body. You would become more subtle. Something will appear. It will be the transformation of your point of view. And it's all about that. It's not only the evolution of your energetical body, your powers, your abilities, the way that you can exert an influence towards your environment. Something will change fundamentally. It will be your perception. By rising your frequency, your consciousness will shift, and the point of view of your consciousness as well. And this perception could be disturbing, could be a source of anxiety, and could be uncomfortable. In the way that you will feel that the surrounding, the world around you, wouldn't be perceived in the same way. And it's all about this collective consciousness shift. You're not only going to vibrate differently, you're going to see the world not from a personal point of view, but from a collective point of view. And it will not stop growing. It will continue. You will perceive the world first from a collective point of view, in the way that your ability to become an empath will grow. When speaking to someone, you will feel what this person is feeling. It will continue until it reaches some state of universal point of view. Which means that it's not only that you would feel what someone else would feel when interacting with a person. It would go fundamentally one step further. Any kind of animal, when being in interaction with the animal, you would feel what this animal is feeling. And it would go further. When you would be in interaction with a plant or a tree, you would feel what this tree is feeling. And it could go ultimately even one step further. When being in interaction with a stone, you would feel what this stone is feeling. As far as whatever is manifested, it is driven by a consciousness. It's always be driven by an individual consciousness, which is a fractal part of the universal consciousness. By going closer to your core, your personal consciousness, which is a vibratory phenomenon, which is infinitely small, you will go closer to the core of the universal consciousness, which is infinitely huge. So, sometimes it goes progressively and you have a room to adapt. And sometimes this shifting would be brutal. There would be not much time to adapt. You would shift from a state to another, quite literally. And it could be the cause of discomfort, of anxiety, and as well a matter of dissociation, which is all about this feeling of being dissociated from my individual being to some other being which is larger than that. And I don't know anymore where to position myself. And that's here where our topic comes into play, which is the densification of this consciousness, the stabilization. When entering a larger field of consciousness, you're meeting a new story, a new universe, a new way to see the world. So there's columns which are the values, the repairs of your personality, which is not much but a series of spots which are guiding us and giving us some psychological structure. We'll move on. You do quite understand that as far as your consciousness is shifting, your repairs will shift as well. Not for everyone, because some people have been educated in the way that their psychological repairs are put in place in order to prepare itself to receive this consciousness shifting. But for some people, the breeding has been all about materialism, rationality. And you do understand that when you start to see your consciousness shifting, the amount of information will grow as well. And as far as you're going closer to the core of your being, the root of your consciousness, which is literally perceiving 10 million informations per second, you can't handle all of that in the same way. You can't analyze 10 million of informations straightforward. Therefore, you have to adapt and allow yourself to use a non-rational way of thinking. And the first step is to connect on a stronger way to your emotional intelligence. And it's just a step. As far as one step further, you will have to connect to your intuitive intelligence. Not as a hobby, not as a way to entertain yourself and play to the game of law of attraction, but for real, for good, in daily life. Understanding that the information that your intuition is providing to you are as solid, are relevant, as something you can touch. There are some other points which has to be considered. It's that as far as the point of view of your consciousness will evolve, you will have to densify it. Put together all these extremely subtle sensations in order to make them more dense, solid, heavy. The heaviness of intuition is possible, and it's relied to the feeling I am. This feeling I am is a sense of being, and it does gather all their sensations, as subtle as they could be, all together. By digging on this feeling I am, you would at some point able to feel your being even when there's no informations, no sensations, no emotions. You would be able to feel your being within the core of your own silence, and consider your own silence, free of informations, free of perceptions, as a corpse, which is, in a matter of fact, a blank page, recording all which is happening. And taming this point of view, training yourself to consider your identity not as a doer anymore, but as a witness of what is happening. The witness doesn't interfere with its environment, and yet everything happens.